the Leadership Series Class of 2024. Wednesday, June 5th.
Hi.
Hi,
Elizabeth.
Hi.
Hi. No.
Nicole.
Guys, can you believe that graduation is 3 weeks from tomorrow? Hey, Nicole.
Nicole and Morella on the
Nicole
top because I
Morella.
haven't been here. Everybody, we're moving all over the screen. Making you all
Hello.
and
Do
moving
we have
everybody.
everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Who are we missing?
Pablo and Gabe. Pablo and Gabe.
How do I make my window is small? How do I make it full screen? Full.
So it does look like you said you can't do this, but it really looks like if you put your mouse on the edge, like where that on the left edge, like above mute on the side, not in the box, but on the side, and hold your mouse down, you should be able to just drag the window bigger.
All right, let
Hi,
me see if I
Pablo.
can do
Hi,
that on the
Gabe.
right. Oh, I did. Oh, you're the best, Deb.
Yeah, there you go. Now you can do the. Now you
That
should see the
one,
box on the
keep her.
top, so you can make it full screen.
There it is. View.
Gabe!
Hey,
And
Pablo!
the gallery full screen.
All right,
okay,
baby.
okay. Thank you, Deb.
Yay.
Hey, Pablo. How you
So frustrating to me. Thank
I
you.
know,
for
I
helping.
bet. Because you do it once and then you open it next time and it saves the settings. It's like, what the heck? Look how
Exactly.
big Pablo's
Thank
beard
you.
got, you guys. Is that bigger than usual?
I don't know, but Pablo with the
I'm
hat, you got a real Duck Dynasty thing going on
You
today.
do.
Hey guys,
Ta-da! Now we can see your
everyone.
faces.
Don't quit your
I'm
day
very
job,
excited
Scott.
because we are in the last month of the leadership series and everybody is still in full attendance. You guys are one of the best classes we've ever had for attendance.
And this
You've
class,
just
I just
really
have to
been
put it out there
committed.
too,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
when class is over, it's not over. Like there's still,
That's right.
we have our graduate class, we have all kinds of stuff to still do. So you're not done. You
Oh,
know,
I
So,
thought
Pablo.
you're not done with us. Ha-ha! I collect people too, and I'm collecting all of you. Some classes I'm like, I'm not taking that one, but this one,
Pablo.
all of you are in my basket.
Thank
Yeah.
you for talking with my mom the other day about, if you want to work with us.
No problem, bud. No problem.
Oh, do the rest of that later though. Look, see when Deb gets serious. Yeah.
I know.
know.
I thought you were gonna say your famous line, and I was gonna be like, Deb, you gotta wait till graduation.
I already said it at I said it at
Yeah,
the
she already
conference.
said
I already
it.
did.
Oh,
I already
that's
said
right,
it.
you did.
Because there were other class members there, and I said, "There's nothing against you guys. You were the best class ever when it was your turn, but you're gone, and these guys are here, and no one ever did full attendance like this. People are like, meh, meh.
Yeah, yeah. People
Okay.
started going to the beach and the movies by this point, and
I
you guys
know.
are still
Yes,
here,
they
still
did.
committed.
In the pool.
Yep, the pool. Yeah, anything.
And looking forward to every class. Dan and I enjoy,
Yes.
and we
Yeah.
can't wait till Wednesday comes, right, Dan?
Baby.
Right.
Excellent.
So Deb mentioned a little bit about the Graduate Academy, that once you guys graduate on June 27th, you can then fill out the application just once for your whole life to join the Graduate Academy. And with the Graduate Academy, sometimes we offer mini courses, but every month, I think it's what is it? Second Tuesday of the month or
Tuesday, yeah.
something. Yeah. We have something called Academy Connections. And we just get together, and whatever the topic is that people want to talk about, and we just kind of stay in touch and, kind of see how everybody's doing and talk
Help people
about some
troubleshoot.
topics that are, help people troubleshoot.
Yeah,
I got
somebody
a
brings
quick
up an
question.
issue, and yeah.
Yeah.
I got a quick
so-
question for you,
Yeah.
Michelle.
Yes.
So about working with you guys, how's that come about?
So that comes about with one of the Graduate Academy courses called Peer Mentor Training. And once you join the Graduate Academy and then take the Peer Mentor Training, which we usually offer in the fall for this graduating class that just graduated, we then offer in the fall that 4-week course. And then once you do that, you're qualified to, if something comes up that we have something we need you to do, we'll pay you to be a peer mentor. So it's exciting.
And it's not just to help with the classes. It's peer mentor to help with there's these
Yep.
classes. There's once you go through some Graduate Academy classes, you could teach those classes. There's all these different meetings that we get asked to have send representatives to. And so we need to send people that are not afraid to say, I don't know what you're talking about because you're talking in big words or anything like that. Wait, don't pop your hand. Don't use that hand thing. It messes up the screen. Sorry, Anna.
Anna's putting
Um,
her hand down.
We're just
and
practicing
raising her
still.
wrist.
So just remember, as one, if you learn nothing else in the class, when someone's talking, what are you not gonna do? You're not gonna go like you're not gonna raise your hand right when they're talking because I
Yeah,
love
and
how
it's
Joe is
difficult
doing this
sometimes.
now.
I know,
Joe
but
is-
I
I
was
know.
telling Hannah about that last night. That poor Joe had to
Hysterical.
lift one finger.
There's got to be a way to turn that off, Joe. There's got to be a way. So Anna, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's your question, Anna?
I have a question about this academy thing and stuff. Oh, oh, what is my question?
When
So-
are they?
What's the what? The Graduate Academy?
Yeah, yeah, about the academy is if that can be like any day, but after the 15th of July, I would not be in office.
Oh gosh, it's not happening over the summer, honey.
Yeah, we kind of
Yeah.
Which is Rhode Island.
July and August.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be
Except
in office for a week in July, so I just wanted to ask that.
Yeah.
My schedule is not more competitive, so
Yep.
That's
There's-
okay.
I know.
I'm gonna-
okay.
Yeah.
Today-
Well, Michelle, your 5 minutes. I'm just telling you that you're way past your 5-minute reminder.
You didn't let us start our 5 minutes until you were done with Auntie Rhonda's technical issues. So now
Oh,
that
that's
it's
true.
been
The
5
technical,
minutes,
yeah.
I'm waiting.
It's Auntie Rhonda's
Uh,
fault then, not mine. Man.
And we're doing announcements. But yes,
Yeah.
everything is going to pause for July and August because we're exhausted by the time summer comes and it's vacation times for everybody and all that.
Carmen
kind
and
of
Lena,
stuff.
Carlina are coming to help me in my garden though. If anybody else wants to come pick stuff.
Oh,
Yeah. She said that once. She said yes to that once in an email, and I'm holding them to it. Yeah.
Oh.
Anybody wants to
okay,
come to the garden
yeah.
once things are growing? We'll have fun. Dan's gonna come. You can. Anybody wants to? There'll be something to do. It's just fun, you know. Out in the sun, good air, healthy air. Pull up this, do that, eat these.
Just let
Get
us
tomatoes
know.
off the plant and eat them. Yeah. We don't use bug spray, so you could eat them right off the plant. Although we use some soap bug spray sometimes, and so it'll taste yucky, but it won't kill you. I warned you
Clean
which
your
ones, yeah.
insides. Get you nice and clean inside with the soap.
Yeah.
Deb, where do you where do you live in Rhode Island?
I don't. I live in Rehoboth.
Yes.
where's
Rehoboth,
that?
Mass, over the border. So Ride does not come here, as Keith would tell you, that he usually, if he comes, he gets, well, now he has an awesome support person who brings him here. I used to go pick him up at like the parking lot and Shaw's and all that. And I'm doing
Yeah,
that.
it was
I can't
always
do that now
short.
because we'd always be like, the ride was late or this or that. So we'll figure that piece out. But I was just saying it because I'm excited because it's summer and I love summer. I love being out in my garden. You will never see me again. Well,
My
I'm
mom
not
has
get
a
out
garden
there.
right now.
I spend
You
the
really
entire
won't.
day out there. I come in coated in bug spray and sunburn, and I am so happy.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
to see your place.
She's not kidding.
She's
I
All
not
like
right,
this
kidding
Joe,
now.
I'll add you to. Yeah, okay. Nicole's gonna come, right, Nicole? I saw a smile. You're gonna come to the garden, Nicole?
yes,
What?
the
Yeah.
garden.
And the
The
ducks. You can see the ducks and the chicken and the geese.
And the
The
dog.
cat
And
and
the,
the
and
dog.
the dogs and the cat and the wild turkeys that don't know
I
they're
want to hold
wild.
I never hold a duck. I want to hold a duck.
Mm.
Some of them are more amenable to that than others. Some of them are like, "Don't you dare touch me," and other ones are like, "If you have food, I'll let you touch me." Got any worms, yeah. Anyway,
Now we begin.
that was our 5 minute. All right, yeah, because we like to chat at the beginning, but we're like, yeah, and then we need to do the class too, yeah. So today we're going to continue. We were talking about how to make decisions last week with all the songs and stuff. And I did not put the recording up there yet, Dan. I know you're going to ask. It's not there yet, Dan. Excuse me. But today it's more of that. We're going to talk about this thing that is D and I, this word that we just, this made up phrase, we call it made up. We talk about this thing called self-determination. It's like, what the heck is that? We're going to be talking about that. But before we do, because it's part of the whole planning and stuff. And then next week, we're going to focus totally on this thing that we keep talking about called person-centered planning. But before we do that, because this is actually ties into what we're doing, we want you guys to share. Now, this does not have to be long and deep and dirty secrets or anything. Just some simple, what's a mistake that you made recently and what did you learn from it? really short and quick. Like, like I put on I put on long pants when it was too hot, something like that. So Carmen went first. So we'll start on Carmen and then we'll go from there. Don't forget to pretend. Tell us who you are. Just pretend.
Hello, my name is Carmen. I have black hair and glasses on.
Ooh, you are so good.
I made a mistake of trusting this app. It's not very safe.
Mm.
Oh.
So you learned that it's not safe. All right.
Even Carmen can be tricked. Just do it the right way.
Even Carmen can be tricked.
Yeah.
Okay,
Carmen
next.
can be
Yeah.
tricked.
That's a good one. That's a good example. Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
But you're not going to use that app again, right?
No, my friend Lena over here deleted it because I
There
couldn't.
you go. All right.
It was too painful to do it
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to your partner in crime there.
Lena?
Hi, I'm Lena. I have like medium length dark brown hair and I'm wearing glasses. And I guess for today, the mistake I made was not bringing a sweater because the building that we work in is freezing and I automatically thought, oh, it's going to be 84. I'm not going to need a sweater. I've been freezing all day.
Oh.
And then,
Um,
yep.
it's me. My name is Deanne, and the biggest mistake, well, the mistake I've made lately, among other little mistakes, but is my friend from Kentucky bought me an air conditioner, and we put the air conditioner in only to discover it doesn't cover the whole room. And the mistake I made was I threw out the box. And I usually keep a box for like the whole year. But I was like, oh no, it fits, it's all good, whatever. But I should have kept that box. And the next person I see is Keith.
Alright, my name's Keith and I wear a black shirt when it's really hot.
And that's a mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it hides the
Definitely.
sweat better. Or no, maybe it doesn't. No.
Makes you sweat more. And Joe.
Hi everyone, I'm Joe. I wear a gaming headset and I have brown hair and what I made a mistake of wearing a long sleeve shirt.
Mm.
And the next person is Auntie Rhonda and Daniel.
Hi, I'm Auntie Rhonda, and I guess I'll follow suit and tell you I have short hair and glasses. And the mistake I made was having a second helping of my food because then I was way too full and I felt uncomfortable. So I shouldn't have had that second helping. And next is Daniel.
My name is Daniel, and one thing is, you know how sometimes you try to be independent and you're blind and you play with a mistake is sometimes if you're blind and you know what it's like and you try to your phone gets unplugged, you try to play with the cord even though you can't quite get it. And it breaks, and then the cord breaks while you're trying to plug your phone back in or fix the problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dan, I'm not blind and I do that too.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to be more independent
Yeah.
in some ways.
Yeah.
And so what you learned from that is maybe what?
Don't play with the cord.
Well, maybe asking for help when you're having a hard time.
Yeah, asking for help.
Or getting a flat charger that you just put it on to charge it and they don't have to deal with the cord.
He has
Ding,
that.
ding. Yeah, use that.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
that, but it still plugs into the wall.
Well, yeah, don't play with the cord part. Combine the two then. Don't play with
Yeah.
the cord and just put your phone on it to charge it. All right.
Ask for help if you need help.
And ask for help. Next.
Next is Amethyst.
Tell her.
Amethyst.
Hello, this is Amethyst. One mistake I make is going to bed too late.
Took mine. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm Deb, and I should say that, you know, I love that you guys are describing yourselves, and I think that it changes, like, because we've known each other for so long that, like, if you did some major change with yourself, like dyed my hair, I got a crew cut and dyed my head purple, then I would say that this time, but I still look the same. I still have curly hair and glasses, and I move a lot. And Amethyst said what I did, so I'm going to say a different one. That one mistake that I make is I have the worst plot time management in the entire universe. And I think, like, you know, like my husband's like, you know, could you come in from that early? And I'm like, oh, sure. And then I'm like, da, 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 da. And my idea of early and time management, my mistake is just not having a clock on all the time and setting timers for myself. And Nick is next.
Hello, my name is Nicholas, and one mistake I may have made is not doing my chores before just the URI. So now I have to do them at some point in the week. And Anna's next.
I love that one, Nick. That's good.
So, I'm next. I'm working on my mistake on a piece of paper, but my name is Anna, and a mistake that I have made was on people pleasing. To a friend of mine that caused me to make damaging decisions to my life. And the biggest intake, what I can learn from that is to not fall into a trap of people pleasing and to learn from your mistake. And I can't see myself, so I don't think that comes to me. And
oh, it's me.
Michelle.
It's Michelle. Yes, thank you, Anna. That's a really good example of a mistake a lot of people make. Okay, my name is Michelle, and my biggest mistake recently was my husband gave our puppy a bone that was chewed down to like this much. Usually I take them away, but I didn't want to hurt my husband's feelings. So I let the puppy play with it. I was keeping an eye on him because if it went down a little bit more, I'm afraid he's going to choke. And I didn't take it away soon enough, and he did swallow it. Thank God he didn't choke. And then I worried for 48 hours that he'd have a blockage in his intestines. No more. Okay. Big mistake. If I could go back to Sunday, I would. Yeah, do it all over again. All right. Raising puppies is a lot like raising kids, people. Gabe and Pablo, you are up next.
Okay, I'm Gabe and I'm wearing a hat and have glasses on. And my biggest mistake is that I didn't arrange my room for them to put my air conditioner in. So now, because I didn't when they were going to, I have to wait till I don't know when they come back to do it.
A lesson learned, huh, Gabe? A sweaty
Yeah.
lesson. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Pablo. I look like Jason Momoa minus the abs. I have long hair, dark black hair, wearing a blue shirt today, and got my tan skin on. Biggest mistake that I've made. I'm a minimalist, so I don't like to have too many things just because it overwhelms me. So I ordered shoes, ordered them the wrong size, and the shoes I currently had were getting broken down, and I decided to take them on a hike. So I've been just wearing sandals for the last few days, waiting until my new shoes come in the mail, the right size. Next is Scott.
But you still look more like Jesus than Jason Momoa, just, you know. I mean, I love Jason Momoa too, but I love Jesus more.
That's
You look
what I
like
was
Jesus.
just gonna say.
Yeah, you said that the very first class, like, I don't look like Jesus. He does.
I do.
Our idea of what Jesus looks like, it could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
My name is Scott. My biggest mistake is not cleaning my apartment up.
But you mean you have what do you mean apartment? You're not cleaning
What?
where you live?
Yeah, where I lived before. Yeah.
Ah.
And my sister
And it
got
doesn't have to be your
mad at
biggest, you
me.
guys. It can just be something I just, I forgot to take the. I mean, like Nick's is good. It's like, oh, I didn't do the chores before I left. Like that's just like, yeah.
Mhm.
All right. You see who's next, Scott, at the top of the screen?
Yep. Mike.
Mark. Close.
Mark.
Yeah, that's me. Hi, everybody. I am Mark, and I'm wearing a green one-up shirt and some blue shorts. And then one of the biggest mistakes that I made, like, many years back is that I told one of the women who are the clients, well, a woman client, which got me mad so much, which kept making me mad a lot, is that, again, I regret this, that I told her to go F herself. Because she made me mad so much, I just lost it.
So I love that you shared that, Mark, that you like did something wrong and you knew it was wrong. I love that. Thank you. Yep, you knew it was wrong. So now, you learned different things you could do.
Well,
You see who's next to you?
Actually, there's more to the story than that, Deb. There's more to the story
We
than
don't
that.
really need the whole big long version of the story though, because I have a feeling there's a lot to it.
Oh, no,
Somebody
no,
upset you
no.
and you just said something to him. Like this is just supposed to be like your, what's a mistake I made and what I learned from it. So that was plenty.
Oh, I know that, but I wasn't going to go into detail, but I was going to say, as long as certain people don't go off the deep end with me, then I won't say it but I'll maintain to control it.
Good. Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you for sharing that.
No
See
problem.
who's next. See who's next. Can you see it on your screen? Who's next?
Wait a minute. If I can just, I guess one of the people is Nicole and Marilla.
Yes. Nicole, you want to go first?
I don't even know if I can say this.
Yes, you can.
No, because it gets against you too.
It's fine. Just say it.
Okay, so last night, a couple of days ago, Marella put me on Hulu, and I like ER, so I found Hulu for ER. So I guess I went to bed around I don't know, 9. And Ella went on. You tell the story.
And she stayed up and watched ER until 1 a.m. And her mistake is that she woke up very tired and cranky this morning.
I love it. You and Amethyst and me, Nicole.
Well, if you get into a show, you can't stop watching it.
Hey, listen,
There's
I didn't even know it was
lessons.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Renella found out. She looked up. I guess she went on
another account, and I see.
Yeah.
I'm with Nicole.
All right, Morella's
now.
gonna go.
Okay,
Morella's gonna go next.
My mistake is that I skipped breakfast this morning because I was in a hurry to attend the meeting. So then I couldn't have enough time to eat lunch. So now I'm like food free and I'm starving. My stomach is growling, but that's okay.
You can eat. We won't hold it against you. You can eat.
Yeah. So my
Eat
biggest
something.
mistake is breakfast. It's important. I gotta eat it because you never know what happens during the day. right?
So Nicole, be careful because she might be grouchy because she's hungry.
Yeah, she'd be hangry.
You were grouchy when you didn't get enough sleep. Morella might get grouchy because she's hungry.
I have
Not
a
the
cat
hanger.
fight. Yeah, exactly.
It's that, or when you go to the grocery store without eating first, I buy the entire store. I'm like, oh, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think that's bad? You never see me hangry.
We don't want to. Nor do we want. All right. So those are all important because mistakes, and this is in the PowerPoint we're gonna watch too, but mistakes are like how we learn stuff. That's why it was like, what'd you learn from it? You know, like Dan learned not to mess around with his cord. Nick learned that maybe if I did this stuff before I went to the games, it would be easier in my life. Amethyst and Nicole and I are never going to learn not to stay up that late, though, just so you know. It's like, oh, but this show's so good, you know. But, you know, seriously, though, like, you could learn. If you're like, I have something I really have to do tomorrow, then, you know, you'll, like, learn that if you go and you're really tired the next day, that maybe you should sleep the night before. But those are great examples. And that's why this thing we're going to talk about today, this word self-determination, Dee and I have, like, the first time we heard it years and years ago, it was like, what the heck? Like, they had to make this big, hard word to talk about just basically how you decide that you're in charge of your own life. Like, just decide that you're the person in charge of your life. And they made it this whole big disability thing. Like, they always talk about people with disabilities and self-determination. And we just want you to know before we even start it, that it's not just people with disabilities. All of this applies to everybody.
And I just want to ask a question. Do you ever walk around and go, I'm going to self-determine today?
Yeah, I do
Does
all the
anyone
time.
ever say that?
Today I'm going to
No.
self-determine myself. But you know, determining means like making up your mind and so about yourself. It's just that they use this phrase. So if you're doing some other stuff or you're working for us someday in the future, or, you know, reading or looking at something and you hear people talk about self-determination, you'll know what it means and you'll know how to set them straight and say, you mean just like being in charge of your life? Is that what you mean? Because last week we talked about how to make decisions and what are some ways and what are some things you could look at, and you talk to other people and resources and try things and stuff. And this week we're going to talk about it some more, and we're also going to talk about just choice. And this word, it's a big word. I used it before. Michelle's like, wow, there's this word autonomy. Anybody remember at all like what it means? It's a hard word to remember. It just means, like, think about it like auto me, like I'm the person who can make my own decisions for me. I'm autonomous. It doesn't mean though that you are the only person in your life, if that makes sense. Like you can be autonomous, meaning you can be the one that gets to be the decider for yourself. But we all need other people. You know that no man is an island. I won't sing that old song for you, but there's an old song. Rhonda and I can sing it together. No, we won't though. But it's just that talking about it and talking about being self-determined and the person in charge and everything doesn't mean that you don't need other people. And it doesn't mean that we don't all have responsibilities to be respectful and considerate of other people and play our role in society either. I'm going to put the slides up and we're going to talk about this thing, this self-determination thing. And there's different questions along the way. So just wait for some questions. And I think that Joe was going to read last week from one of the slides, and then we ended up not being able to read. So Joe, can you be our reader for first?
Okay. Self-determination 101. I am here. I see a picture with a target symbol with a black, white, blue, yellow, red, and white, and there's a person in the middle with it's shaped like a person. So it says here I am.
Yep, I am here, and underneath it says
it's about to begin. The person in the center.
Yeah, there's a missing quote mark, and it's hard to read that one. It says it's about being that person in the center. It should have a quote. Because this thing we're going to talk about next week that you keep hearing us drop the name, all the words all the time, person-centered. That's kind of like where everything gets to, you guys, about, like, you know, putting yourself first, kind of like you're in the middle of it. You're the one who gets to decide. And so that's what this is. And so here's the next slide. So we're going to talk about it. And like I just said, and Dee would tell you too, it's not a disability thing. People think it is, but it's not. But the thing is that we take it and we look at it from the disability thing, because people that have a disability label get, you know, all kinds of assumptions made about them and all kinds of things that are just wrong. And so we're not going to do that. We're going to give you the perspective. We're going to talk about it, but we're going to make sure we set the record straight that this is about everybody. But there's some special exceptions that happen more often to people. So we'll just mention those because they shouldn't. Want to do another one, Joe?
Sure. I see it's surrounded by a white border and black in the middle, and the quote says, "The only person you destined to become is the person you decide to be." And the person who said it is Ralph Waldo Emerson.
It is. And that's great. When there's just words on the screen, if they're in a different box, you can just read the words, because that's just to highlight them. You don't have to do the description, but you're really good at the description part. The thing about this one is that that's what I'm looking for, another slide on my screen while I'm talking to you. So hang on, because so it's destined to become, like, that means the person who you're going to end up being when you grow up, if you ever decide to grow up, which I'm not so sure about that. But it means like what you're going to become later in life, you know, like if you're young and you're like, someday, like when Auntie Rhonda was Linda, she was like little, she was like, someday I'm going to be a nurse, or excuse me, Nick, someday I'm going to be a TV sports broadcast, whatever that thing is, Nick, the sports broadcaster person. It's like the thing that you decide. So what Ralph Waldo Emerson, who's a famous poet from a long time ago, what they came up with was that you're the one who gets to figure that, who decides that. Like, it's not that you're just that some people say there's this thing called fate and you're going to end up being a nurse whether you want to or not, and that's not true. You get to decide. So if people are like, you're going to end up pushing shopping carts for the rest of your life because you have a disability and that's it, that's a load of hoo-hoo, because you get to decide. But another slide comes on here. It says, one more, Joe.
Okay. I see a picture.
So let me just interrupt you. You should try to read the words first and then describe the picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you need to decide who that person is. And then I see a person, like a globe, the whole earth, and then that's round, and then I see it wearing a graduation cap, and there's books, like learning books, like educational books, and it looks like they wanted to be a teacher of some sort, because I see an apples and a pencil, so they maybe want to be a teacher.
And it's hard to see, but on the book it says being in charge of me. So they're studying. The only person who determines who you're going to be is you, but you got to figure out who that's going to be. So they're studying how to be in charge of themselves, being in charge of me, and they're reading a book about it. So that's what this is about. You know, you should always remember, because it's a journey. It's always a journey, and you know, you might decide, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a nurse, I'm going to be an astronaut, and then you might change your mind, and that's totally okay. You know, I think one of the things that we've seen happen with people with disabilities, and this is a generalization, but I've been around a long time, you guys, and it's true. That's like, oh, Deb wants to become an animal care person, so that's it, done with her. Next, you know, like, and that's not true, because maybe you know, I'm going to change my mind and I want nothing to do with animals next, and you are the only one who really ultimately gets to decide that. But you know, before we get to that, let's figure out, like, well, how do you decide? How do you figure out what the heck you want to be when you grow up, or if you want to grow up? So that's what some of this is about. So Dee is going to do this slide for us, because she's going to talk about it. So I'll put the 4 steps up one at a time, Dee.
And I actually do have the notes, so we're good.
All right, there you go. Yeah.
The 4 steps of self-determination. Step 1, decide what you want to do. So the first thing is you're going to decide on a goal, and how do you want to live your life. So that's the first thing that you need to do. What's the goal, and how do you want to live your life?
And it's you decide it. Yeah.
Right. You're as I like to tell people, you're the star of your own show. Step 2.
Wait, picture.
Oh, sorry. So there's a picture of a bullseye and a marshmallow type person
pointing at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pointing at their goals. That's like bullseyes, you guys. That just represents goals in like the world of whatever we're doing. So a marshmallow is pointing to their goals of what they want to do.
I don't know how
Marshmallow
much
person,
to
I love that.
describe
With a
it.
tie.
Yeah.
Made out of licorice.
Step 2 has a light bulb with a bubble around it, and it says, figure out how to do it. So now you have this goal, and so now you want to figure out how to do it. And what do you need to do that? It's sort of like what we talked about a little bit about last week. You know, what do you need to do that goal?
Joe will just tell you, try to read the words first and then the picture.
Yeah.
I just told him that.
Yeah.
I don't want to only tell him and not
Sorry.
tell you. Ready for the next
Sorry.
one?
Yeah.
All right. So you decide what you want to do, you figure out how to do it, and then you
do it, right? So step 3 is do it. Take action. The picture it says take action with a little lightning bolt.
just figure out what
So-
you want and how to do it and do it.
And now you're gonna do it, right? Remember, you can always change your mind. Nothing is ever written in stone. There's always room for changing. So 4, step 4, think about what you did, right? So on that picture, it's a little magnifying glass. And you kind of want to look back on what you did. So think about what you did. Did you like it? Would you do it differently? And what would you do now? So now you've done it, and you could very well say, you know what, I don't like that, or I would do it differently this time. So there's always room for that. And I'm gonna keep.
I think that's probably the most important step, really, is like look at it after you did it, like, you know, jump in and try it, but then stop and say, let me think about that. Because a lot of times people just do something and then they do the next thing without thinking about the thing that they did.
And for some reason, there's always like, people always seem to think it's either good or bad, right? But there could be some in between about that. You could decide, oh, you know what, I tried that. It didn't go quite as I wanted it to go. Next time I'm gonna do this instead and see how it goes. Okay.
That was easy.
So this slide says, it sounds easy. Sounds easy, right? You figure out what you want, you figure out how to do it, you do it, and you say, let me think about that. That sounds easy. But on this picture, there's a person standing there with like it looks like one of those victory things, like the picture of Nick in the video where he was lighting the torch. It looks like, or of Pablo climbing the side of the mountain. I'm gonna get victorious. But then the thing you just heard, Nick, was excuse me, Dan, was one of those easy buttons that I've discovered most of you don't know what they are anymore, so we're old, Dan. But you push it and it just, that was easy. That's a buzzer and a thing that comes off to cross off the easy button says, and the buzzer means no, because if that sounds easy, then why is it so hard? Because it's not easy, you guys. This is, it's not just like, okay, we told you the 4 steps, and so now we're done with today's class. So we're going to talk about it a little bit to give you some more thoughts on that. So this slide, Dee.
Yeah. So this slide says, people may say this, don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid to never try.
Anybody heard that?
I know I
Don't be afraid, right? I've heard it. Don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid to never try. It's from some saying from somewhere, but it's a pretty famous saying. If you've never heard it, you have now. People say this, they might say this. They're like, oh, don't be afraid, just give it a try. But a lot of people are actually thinking this.
Be afraid to fail, never try.
Many people say this and they're just afraid. They're afraid to fail, so they just don't try. And it's especially true in our experience. If you have a disability label, it is actually ends up being even more true for you because you just don't have as much experience in the first place. And when you have experience, it's one of the things that, you know what it does? It makes you be more comfortable trying more experiences. So yeah, we're going to stop sharing this for a moment. We can talk about it. So go ahead, Joe.
So I have a saying, something like that I always say to my friends: believe in yourself, never give up.
Yeah, believe in
I like
yourself.
that.
Yeah, which means you're not afraid. I mean, if you believe in yourself, then you're going to try. Anybody else want to comment so far on what we've talked about so far? Thoughts about this? Questions? You don't have to. You don't have to have any. All right. And we'll put it back up. Thank you, Joe. That was good. We'll put it back up.
Gabe, did you have something you wanted to say?
Self-determined at Special Olympics. Now, with my eyesight, when I bowl, I never bowl straight. Well, no gutters. I did it, got silver medal.
Hey.
Wow.
I did it.
Awesome. See, you weren't afraid to try, right?
No.
Awesome.
I
That's a
did
good
it.
That's
example.
so good. I'm so bad at bowling. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is. Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations there,
Yeah.
Gabe. That's awesome.
I love that. Yep. Don't be afraid to try. I mean, don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid to never try. Okay. So the next slide, we're gonna go back to you, Dee.
Yep. So it says, why are people afraid to try?
So here's some reasons, you guys. See if you can
Right.
relate to any of these.
Experience, right? You may have had, you could have had a fear of the unknown. I've never done that before. A bad experience. I tried before and it didn't work and it didn't go well.
That's a common one that people are like, oh, I'm not gonna get a job because I had one before and it was awful.
Yeah, and then also it's because sometimes in my experience as a person with a disability, it's also because people keep reminding you of what a bad experience that was.
Yeah. Oh, you remember you did that and it wasn't
Yeah,
good.
and it wasn't good.
That's not just people with disabilities. That happens to me. Oh no, you remember you tried that already. It's like, yeah, now I want to try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we have information, right? So lack of information. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. So you're not sure of how to do it. And then misinformation. You know, we can give the wrong information. Someone told me it isn't safe. So we automatically go that way instead of trying to figure it out ourselves. Or asking the questions that we need to ask. Support. Lack of resources. I don't have support staff or the things I need to do this. So whether it's support staff, money, somebody to help you do something.
Transportation.
Yep.
The big one.
That's fun. Yeah. So you know, you don't have the resources, you don't have the support. Attitudes. People with disabilities can't do that. I've
Can't
heard
do that.
a
You
lot.
can't go bungee jumping, Dee, or out of an airplane because you use a wheelchair.
Yeah, and that's not true, right? But if you're told that over and over again, it's very easy to just believe it and then just not try.
Dee, I think you
Yeah.
can do it. You just need to keep on doing it.
Well, I have to say something about that. So I wanted to skydive, right? And I told everybody I wanted to skydive, right? But then I actually did my research and discovered it really wasn't for me.
Don't want to skydive.
So, but you know, it's hard once you put it out there, people are now asking you about it. And I have to tell people, you know, I really wanted to do that, but now I'm not so gung-ho about that.
That's the best example, Dee. I'm still going to use it forever because you did your research. You were like, you know, you decided what you wanted to do. You figured out how you were going to do it, and you didn't have to do it. You got to the part where you figured it out, and you said, no. You know, I mean, you don't have to do all the steps, you guys, but you are the one determining how far you're going to go with it.
Yeah, at least no one said to me, you can't do that. And
And if they said that wasn't going to stop you anyway.
No.
I'll explain this graphic because it's not in the notes. It's in the notes on the slide. I deleted This graphic is like that has that warning tape, attention and stop, like the caution tape. It has those caution signs, which usually mean this is dangerous. And it's got two people, adults, with a safety net. And then there's a baby on a cloud, a sleepy baby with a pacifier and a bubble over them. And just imagine that that baby actually represents an adult who happens to have a disability. And that's what happens a lot. Everybody's like, ooh, like we did this skit once, we have Dee wrapped up in bubble wrap. And, you know, with the idea that like she can't do anything unless she's totally protected. And poor Dee, she's like put up with so much over the years, but she's totally protected and covered in bubble wrap. And you have to be really, really careful with her because she uses a wheelchair, which is a bunch of hogwash. So, but that is one of the reasons, speaking of attitudes, that people are afraid to do it because they're like, I can't do that. I'm blind. I use a wheelchair or have cerebral palsy. That. It's like, yeah, no, like don't let that. You don't need to be protected by anybody except yourself. Like you're the first, you know, and part of being protected by yourself is learning and listening to other people sometimes, because there's some things I would do. Like I am a klutz, and every time I touch sharp objects, implements, I always cut myself. And so when I go to cut something at knife, my husband comes running out and he's like, dear, you know, and he cuts it for me because I'm going to cut a finger off, you know? So, so that's some of that is like, you know, you got to protect yourself. And sometimes that also means letting people help you with the stuff that's dangerous for you.
I'm the same way with fire dub.
So anybody else have anything to share about this slide? Anybody else want to say anything about it? No, we're good. Carmen does.
There you go.
This morning I wanted to make my own breakfast, so I picked up a knife, right? And I scared my mom. She was like, no, she was like, "Huh, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm trying to cut my sandwich." And she was like, "Oh, you're not. Give me the knife. This is a very dangerous tool. You can hurt yourself. Let me do it."
Yeah, but so there's a difference though, because I'm going to be 60, so and I've got a life experience of proof that I hurt myself. Have you hurt yourself with the knife?
No.
You've been allowed to use the knife. I mean, there's a difference of being protected, and that's where you decide, like, if you've never really done it and had the chance to see. I mean, that's a great story, Carmen, because maybe, you know, so start with a butter knife. You know, start with a dull knife and practice, because it is a skill to learn. But at some point you're just not going to learn it. You're going to cut your fingers, okay? But it's a skill. And so if that's a thing, Carmen, you're like, I could cut my sandwich. And I mean, I love that you shared that, because you're like, no, I could do it, Mom, or it's just a butter knife, Mom, or it's not that sharp, or I've got 9 other fingers, so what? No, not that. You know, but it's a good example, because it's like a risk. It's like, do you have the information you need? Like, is it going to slice your finger off or not? So you have that information, you know. Do you know how to use it, how to do it? Do you know how to use the knife?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes, and yes. So then you're the one that should decide whether or not you're going to use the knife. And maybe part of respect and stuff is showing your mom or having her help you hand over hand or something, so she realizes, or have her stand there with a bunch of bandages that she's not going to have to use, or whatever it takes, you know. But it's baby steps, but it's a great example that you shared, and a good comparison, because really, like, I mean, I can, you know, cut some things, but like the big things that are going to require a lot of effort, I know my strengths and my not so strongs. Yeah. Anybody else on that? No? Nick, you want to say something? You look like, no? All right, then we're going to go back to another slide.
Yep.
Okay. You want to have somebody read this one, Dee, and then you can talk about it?
Yes.
Somebody else who hasn't read yet. Who wants to read who hasn't read yet? Carmen? Carmen does, and then for the next slide, Gabe wants to, and Ann, I think, raised her hand for future slides.
Okay.
So,
That's the word we kept saying already. That's a really hard word. Self-determination.
Means.
No, you have to say it again now that I said it. I didn't say it for you. I just told you how to say it.
Self-determination means deciding to try all things.
Try anyway.
Not anyway.
So now Pablo's going to read one of the ones. Or you want to read the pictures to us, and then Pablo will read one of the. There's 3 more lines coming on this slide.
Go over the pictures.
Yeah. Okay, I see two people, both yellow, and they're trying some things.
What is
So
it?
do one picture at a time.
This one says my voice. This one says my chance,
Choice.
my choice. And this
Yeah. One is saying it's my voice, and the other is saying it's my voice. It's like what I want, it's what I'm saying. And the other one saying, and it's my choice too. So self-determination means, even though we just talked about all those reasons why you might be afraid to try something, if self-determination means you're gonna try it anyway. So what one line, Pablo, is,
It's okay to make mistakes.
did you want to talk about them line by line?
Yep.
Or?
Yeah, so self-determination is for everyone. Like we said, it's not a disability thing. Unfortunately, many people with DD, which is developmental disabilities label, haven't had the same opportunities and experience to learn the skills they need to make informed decisions and speak up about what they want in life. So, you know, it's just been like that for a very long time. You know, and so now, you know, it's your life. You should be able to make some if some, if not all, decisions about your life.
And the other line on there that's important
Yeah,
says,
yeah, you can get help. You can get help from others, to help you, make the decision. If you're struggling and you could use some help to bounce things off of, but at the end of the day, it's still your life, and you should be the one to choose.
so saying I need help doesn't mean you're not a self-determined person.
Right.
It's like, it actually is part of being self-determined, is deciding I'm going to ask for some help here. So there's two more on this slide, Pablo, and then somebody else will read another slide.
It's okay to fail.
What do you think that means, Pablo? Give Dee a break and tell us, what does that mean?
Could I respond in an example?
Sure.
So my sister has physical and like mild delays, physical disability and mild delays, and I don't live at home anymore. I live with my wife. And she helps my mom now because I left the house, so she does what I used to do. And she was struggling. She was talking about something regarding to a bill to pay, right? And part of me wanted to just do it for them, but the other part, where if I do it, she's not going to learn, told me to ask her, do you have all the things you need? Do you have the name? Do you have the number, etc.? She said yes. So I told her, just give her a call. And if it doesn't go well, I'm here to help after. So I told her to be open to failing, because it also means that she's open to trying. And if
Yes.
Yeah.
if she didn't do it, if she couldn't do it, or they gave her trouble, I'm still available to help.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
I like
One
that.
more. You have more to say about it, dear? Wait, see the next one, and then you'll.
No, I'll see the next.
All right.
It's okay to change your mind.
You can keep going, Pablo. You're on a roll. What's
Yeah,
that one mean?
you're on a roll.
It's okay to change your mind. Trying to think of like a really good example. I mean, for myself, I tried construction before coming here to Refocus. I was at another agency and I felt like I wanted to do something different, and I tried construction and I absolutely loved it. But I didn't like the people and how they treated me. So I changed my mind and kind of came back to what I still loved and was very good at. And here I am.
You know
Yay
what?
for us. Yay for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's the key right there, right? You tried it, you were like, yeah, I like it, but I'm not sure I like how people are treating me. But you know, you tried it and you decided that it wasn't really working for you.
And I changed my mind again because, it might not be a career path for me, but when I have my own home and I have a garage, you bet your buns I'm going to be doing construction stuff in there.
Hey, little side job. We'll hire Pablo.
Yep.
I went to school to be a lawyer, and then I decided, So you can change your mind about anything.
Auntie Rhonda, I was gonna be a nurse, and then I decided that I wasn't steady enough, or nor did I want to give shots. So
Yeah.
I
Anybody else
Like-
change your mind about something like that you want to share? Anybody hasn't shared something yet?
I had originally wanted to be a lawyer myself, Deb, but then I started school and I worked on the side taking care of people. And I just realized that I really didn't want to be a lawyer. I wanted to take care of people and then decided to go to nursing school. So that was really what I liked to do. So
I realized I'd
changed.
have to, I would have had to totally be a defense lawyer, and I realized I'd have to defend some people even if they knew they were guilty, and I can't do that. I mean, I can't fib, and I'm like, I couldn't do that, no. And I'm always been, as I'm wanting to be a lawyer, I'm doing all this volunteer stuff with homeless and this and that, and it's like, the two don't go together in my brain. So, anybody else? Joe had his hand, and, Carmen and Lena had her hand up, Amethyst did, let's go. Go ahead. Who's gonna go? Lena, you haven't said anything yet. What do you got? What do you got?
So just before, I guess, choosing my college, I decided that I wanted to be a medical pathologist. And then upon doing research, I realized I didn't want to do that anymore because it required a lot of schooling, and me in school, I don't have the attention span for that.
What is a medical pathologist?
So a medical pathologist is someone who does the autopsies and reports back to the medical examiners and whoever has questions about how a person passed away.
Yeah,
How did they die? Yeah.
I definitely couldn't do that.
Where did you have Amethyst? Amethyst had something. Oh, I thought you raised your hand to share something that you changed your mind about. No? Nicole Morella did.
Really wanted to hear what Amethyst was
I
gonna
know,
say.
like, what do you got, Amethyst?
Nicole wanted to read the slide. That's what it was.
Oh, next slide, Nicole.
Oh.
Next slide, baby.
What
Anyway, so
thought-
Gabe had somebody change his mind.
Yeah.
Did you put your hand up, Gabe?
Go ahead.
Yes, mine is that I wanted to be a poetry writer, and everything like that was going well. I thought I was the best at it, but then I got a volunteer job where I am now at Jules Hope Chest doing stuff. This is what I want to do, but I can't do it. I can do it, but it's a nonprofit organization, so I'm looking for something I'm going to get paid for.
Can you do both? Write your poems at night.
I
We had
do.
somebody graduated a couple of years ago, Leah Keith. You gotta look her up. She wrote a book. She was a poet laureate around a bunch of different things, and she happens to have Down syndrome, and so what? And she's an amazing poet, and she's got a job at at an art store because she's an artist too. She's an artist first.
Yeah, I am
Or,
too.
Wait. She did this painting with with us for the conference one year. Like she just had people give us colors and stuff. And look, that's a duck, man. But anyway, and then she gave me the painting. But so Gabe, you know, like because you can change your mind and you can change it back, or you can compromise and do something totally different. But I love that you shared that, because sometimes you got to think about like we said last week, like you got to think about, like, is it going to pay me or not pay me? Like, you know, you got to think about all the parts. One more person. Did one more person have their hand up? Anna?
Yes. So I decided to do a math but a boot camp this summer for my college course for fall, and then I'm thinking, and then hold on a sec. And then I'm thinking and really reflecting, then I changed my mind to not follow through on this boot camp because I enjoy my summer. And
Yeah, math.
I was gonna say.
to enjoy my summer and many other components and other reasons are mine. And that changed also taking courses go after my degree in business. So I'm also am following my heart to become more as a pastor or taking courses for that than going after my degree in business.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go another slide. And Nicole wants to do some reading. So let's see what's on the next slide, Miss Nicole. And I gotta show the screen, and that would help if you wanted to read it right. To be able to read the slide, okay, Nicole, you're up.
All right. Oh, that's easy. So I'm gonna read the top.
Yep.
No.
Okay. I said it was easy.
No, like down here.
The top part, the book cover part is hard, but the top part's
Yeah.
easy.
The
That's what I'm
white
doing.
big letters. Okay. Yeah.
It says A about those mistakes.
Make Morello read the picture.
What?
You want me
Make
to read?
Morello read the picture if you don't want to
Okay.
do it. Let me do it.
You want me to do it? What
Or you can do it if you want, Nicole. It doesn't
All right.
matter.
But forget the mistakes. Remember the lesson.
Oh man, that was easy. That was great. That
Yeah.
wasn't hard. You did that easy.
Like what
Can
kind of
I
pic-
describe the picture?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
A pencil. Erases.
What the pencil erased? What word is harder to read because it's partly erased?
What? What is she saying? Like what's partly erased?
I can't read that. I can't tell.
You just read it. The mistake. Yeah, you did great with that slide. Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys, we did this. We had this icebreaker, and we talked about what's a mistake you made and what did you learn from it. And the thing, the questions here are just kind of just for you to think about. All right. So, Michelle, you want to read the question? Do you have those slides in front of you? Want to do the
I
slide
do.
for us? Yeah.
Yeah. So we did talk about making a big mistake for the icebreaker today. How did the people who support you react or respond when that happened? So we didn't talk about that. So one of you, if somebody wants to volunteer, the mistake that you mentioned for the icebreaker, how did the people who support you react or respond when that happened? Anybody have an answer to that?
I want to hear what happened in your house, Nick, when you forgot to do the chores before you left. I want to hear that.
George was like, maybe do them on Monday, but then I didn't have time still, so I still have to do them at some point, and I'll probably just do them on Friday like I normally do.
All right. Well, we know with Nicole and Morella, how did you respond when you saw that Nicole stayed up till 1 o'clock watching ER?
I just gave her the look. I'm like, what were you doing last night until what? How do you know? How do you know? I said, I know everything.
That's right.
Yeah. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't even
my
know.
Okay, it's all
so
good.
fun.
I love that you gave her the look.
Just the look,
Yeah.
right? I only have to give you the look. She knows I'm in business.
Yeah, you mean business. That's awesome. That's awesome. Does anybody else have an example, Carmen, of how people responded to you when you made your mistake?
Well, Lena looked at me and said, "Girl, do you know this is not safe or appropriate?"
Yeah, so she gave some feedback, right? Like,
Yeah,
"Ooh,
yeah, and
you
also
know,
she gave me those sassy Lena eyes.
sassy Lena eyes."
Sassy Lena eyes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, I'm gonna see the sassy Lena eyes.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's
And
see
Morella's look too. Let's see.
Yeah,
I
give
can
us the
imagine-
sassy
Carmen,
Lena
show
eyes.
us the eyes that Lena does, Carmen. Ah! Nicole, have Morella give us the look. Let's see the look. That's good.
I know that the eyebrow goes up sometimes.
Like this, like this.
It's good. You know when people are that you have a connection with people when they can do that and laugh at each other. It's good.
Yes.
Sometimes she do it like this.
Morella's Nicole did you pretty good, Morella. I don't know if you saw that. You can see
Yeah.
it was pretty. It was good.
Oh my gosh. What's my look? Do my look again. To me. Can I see my look?
That's a good look. She's doing it. She's like,
She's shy now. She's like, oh no.
no, she's doing it. The looks she's like, yeah,
The
like
shifty eyes.
that's good, Nicole.
And Carmen did the disapproving shaking of her head to imitate Lena. So that was good. Good stuff.
I bet you
All right.
both appreciated that feedback, though.
I
Just as
know.
a side note, like it was people, that care about you, just kind of saying, like, "Are you crazy?" It wasn't like a staff person saying, "Shame, shame, shame." It was a good kind of response.
Yeah. Yeah, those are great examples. So who knew you made the mistake and how did they find out? And I keep wanting to go back to Nicole and Morella. Morella is able to see, apparently, the screen time on Hulu.
Oh yeah, because I can go in and I'm like, I kind of figured it out. I'm like, okay, so 1 episode, 2 episodes, did the math, and she was like, what?
I have a
I didn't
question
even know I
though.
was on episode.
I really
Yeah.
am curious. How are you able to like? I really want to know. How are you able to know that it was like 1 o'clock in the morning? I know it was your Hulu, but like,
You see how many episodes have been watched? I know the answer to that. Yeah.
So usually she goes to bed like
Oh.
around 8 o'clock and she wanted so bad. And she just started the series. So yesterday when I left, she didn't watch anything because she had to go to work and all
Oh,
that.
okay.
So
So-
yeah. She's
So Hulu has ER on it. I just need to know this
Yeah,
for
they do-
inquiring
yeah,
minds.
yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
It was so good in the beginning. The
yeah.
first
Oh,
season.
I know. And then after a while, it was like
got weird.
Yeah.
It got really weird.
You know what my favorite show is right now? The first 48.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So the
All
reason.
right.
So what's the
So-
last question? Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
the last
Yeah.
question is, does your mistake follow you around? Like, is it staying with you? Is it
are
like,
people reminding you every
Yeah.
chance they get?
You can hear about Dan phone calls for the rest of your life, Dan.
Yeah. Pablo?
I think it's it's dependent on you determining whether it allows you.
Right.
So even though people can, and probably people will, it's about how you respond to it. If you let it affect you, and also making the choice to establish boundaries and say like, hey, it happened. I got over it. Why can't you?
Yeah. You know what though? Honestly, my mother still talks about the fact that when she turned 30 years old, I said, and I was 9. I said, now you're an old lady, Mom. And when I turned 30, she never let me forget. Like, so she continues to let me remember that. And so it really has nothing to do with disabilities, right?
Right.
So everybody hears about their mistakes, but usually unless somebody tells you, or unless you mention it, people don't usually know about it. So I think that's the big difference right there. But when we talk about our families and stuff, they're always gonna bring up
Parents don't
stuff.
count. Parents don't
Yeah,
count. My mother still remembers, and so Auntie Rania doesn't count, Dan. If she says anything about the phone cord,
right.
Parents don't count. Yeah, but but Michelle has stuff on the slide, the notes there about that. I think you're trying to say, Dee, but this is
Yeah.
Michelle's slide, Dee.
Oh, sorry.
I'll read the
No,
notes.
no.
I'll read
Sorry, I'm going rogue.
That's Deanne. If we had to describe her, she goes rogue. So people who don't have a disability label make mistakes all the time, and no one else even knows about it unless that person tells them, which is what Deanne just said. So I can make mistakes, but you guys would never know it. But you know, everyone is allowed to make mistakes. It really doesn't have anything to do whether you have a disability or not. So we all make them and we can all grow from them. So just because you have a disability label doesn't mean, because we see that a lot. Someone did something or said something or looked at something 30 years ago, and to this day, you know, there are rules that are put on them that, well, you can't do this and you can't go there and you can't talk to that person. It's like, but people make mistakes. It's okay. You know, how are you supposed to learn from them if someone keeps, you know, reminding you of your mistakes? But people who don't have a disability label, they get to kind of hide their mistakes a little better, you know? So you just want to be mindful of that you can still self-determine, even if you've made mistakes. It's okay.
Like, don't let it drive your support plan, you know? Like Michelle just
Yeah.
said, if you, because we do, we know people, and this is what Dee was going to say too, is that Dee, go ahead about the whole history thing.
You know, the
Behaviors.
history-
Don't let it
yeah.
become, quote, a behavior.
Yeah, so, you know, Deb just said, like, in history, it becomes like a behavior program or like, we need to do something about this, when in reality, it's just a person living their life and having, and making mistakes just like everybody else.
But the key thing I think there is what Pablo said about owning up to it and
Right.
learning from it and saying, I got over it, why can't you? Like, if you're going to keep making the same mistake, then that's different. It's not that you just have this unlimited ability, freedom to just keep, you know, making the same mistake and hurting other people, especially if it hurts other people or hurts you. Then that's time where you might just reach out to somebody else because, you know, that's just a little bit too much. Dan, who's on your shirt? I'm sorry, but who's the kid on your shirt, Dan? Because he's got a family shirt on. It looks like a kid.
Who's on your shirt?
Who's on my shirt?
Yes.
My cousin's girl, fiance Nicole, and then my brother's fiance, Miranda.
They made the shirt. They're in the family. And they must mean they're definitely accepted in the. I love that.
Yes.
Mark, did you have something you wanted to say about?
Yes, actually, I do. Okay. Yes. While we're talking about making mistakes and stuff, I have heard like people in general, like not just making mistakes, but also breaking laws, which causes them to go to jail.
Yeah, that's a big mistake.
different.
That's
Yeah, that's a
a
good
little
one.
Different.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're talking about everyday life mistakes that we all had an example of that just in this week. Every day we make mistakes. So it's just like everyday mistakes we're talking about. Yeah.
And part of it, like Shell and Dee just both said, is like there's definitely a difference. If you get support from somewhere, they're involved in your life, they're gonna know your mistakes, that like I could make the mistake and nobody's gonna really know unless I tell them, like we just said. But so remember that, because it's still not really anybody else's business to like pick apart your mistake unless you want them to. That doesn't mean you can break the law and you can still keep making the same mistake. But like Pablo said, if you acknowledge it and you like deal with it and you say to people, I got over it, why can't you? It's not, I'm not saying you need to be responsible. Like we said, talking about how do you make decisions and stuff. It's not a free for all. You can do anything the heck you want. It's that, equal members of society, we all make mistakes. And some of us, it doesn't get broadcast on a billboard at 95, and other people, for some reason, it rules their life, and it shouldn't.
And I think that one of the examples that I have is that, I had a staff person who I had told them a mistake I made, and they brought it up to use it against me, kind of thing. And then they realized that, oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have, because I said to them, I didn't tell you that so you could bring it up and use it against me. And they were like, they owned it. So they were like, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And so
they made a mistake too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so let's go. We're gonna go to the next slide, which is sort of just what we just said, but let's go to this one that says, because we're gonna get to some questions we want to. Oh no, we're not. Just so that-
No, we're not.
who hasn't read that wants to read that slide? Nicholas. Nicholas hasn't read and he wants to read it.
Okay.
Mistakes mean experience. Try something new. You never know until you try. And it's a box that has the word experience on it.
All over in different fonts and colors.
Yeah.
And we just said that, you know, you can almost appreciate your mistakes as long as you didn't hurt yourself or anyone else and you can grow from them. Then think of them as a blessing almost like, oh yeah, I learned this, you know, wasn't pleasant, but I learned it. And because self-determination includes making mistakes. It doesn't mean you're suddenly going to decide how you want to live your life and do this perfect life. So now this part here, we could start to talk about. Michelle, you're back up, Michelle, with your notes there or whatever.
There
Or
are
whatever
no
you want
notes on this, but I can
Oh,
read.
all right then. Yeah.
If you want? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it mean to be in control? And
Oh, that's
on
a
the
question for you guys. That's why there's no
That
notes.
is.
Ah.
Yeah. So there's a picture of a hand holding a remote control for a TV. And on the other side of the slide, there's 4 question marks. So what does it mean to be in control? Does anybody have an idea of what that means?
Nicole, I see her.
Raise a hand. Oh, Nicole, are you
Yeah,
gonna?
Nicole.
Go ahead, Nicole, if you wanna.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, I have 2 for the other slide in just this slide.
Wait, one more time?
Okay. Remember the other slide that you just did?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. I have to tell you something about that slide and tell you about something about this slide.
Oh, okay. The one mistakes mean experience?
Yeah, that's what you
That one and the other one.
What did you learn from a mistake, right?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll do that one first, because that one I know.
Okay.
All right, so what I did, my mistake was I was at Gilson, or I was at a park or whatever. I don't remember where I was at. But I went to go and put the lift down. I didn't know my foot was underneath the lift and it got my foot, and that was my mistake. I should have looked before I went down. Like, yeah. Should have looked. Now I'm aware to like look to be a little farther away and let the thing go down, then put Ashley in the lift.
Yeah. Ooh,
And
That's a
lesson
really good
learned.
example. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one was
the one to be in control.
the one being control.
That's okay. It's just
Oh, okay. The one to be in control is you gotta be in, like something. If something happens, it's your control to keep it in control. I don't know how to explain it.
It's what Mark was saying, I think.
Yeah.
Mark, say what you were saying again about staying in control when somebody upsets you. Are you still there? All we see is the eyebrows.
Yeah,
Auntie
that's
Rhonda was
okay.
going to say something about being in control too, weren't you?
To me, being in control means I can make a decision on what makes me happy or what I want to do or when I want to do it or who I want to do it with. It's my life, and I can make the decision on what makes me happy.
Yeah. And Mark's part before, which, you know, also it means deciding how you're going to react, because we have choices every single, like we said last week, the number of decisions, it was some obscene amount of number just in a day of how many decisions you make. And that's a big decision. You can decide to bite someone's head off. You can decide to snap at them. A friend of mine was going to go return her, you know, she got new glasses and one of the things was a little crooked and she was not happy. And she was like, I'm going to go in there and hand it to them and say, look at this. Does this look okay? And I said, or you could just go in and say, hi, could you fix these, please? You know,
Yeah.
Michelle's like, I knew you would say that. You know, like you can decide. She was like, oh, thank you. You're right. But like, you can decide, you can choose how you're going to react. And part of that ties into this whole behavior thing that people say people have, you know? Go ahead, Jay.
It's sort of like, and I also think it's sort of like this, right? So if you have a reaction to somebody, they're gonna react back to you, and so it's not really gonna solve it's not really gonna solve anything, right? So you always have to think about what your reaction is gonna do for somebody else, but also the behavior, you know, it ties in, that all ties in. So
Because if you don't have self-control, then someone else is gonna have that control. You know, if you like Dee just said, if you react to somebody, then you're gonna give them the power to react back to you. So that's really important that, you know, and it's really hard sometimes. Somebody makes you angry, it's like, oh, so just take a pause and just think how you'd want them to respond to you if you did something awful, you know? I mean, and we all do awful things. Sometimes we do things we deserve to be yelled at and stuff, but still, you know, that's in that moment where you think and you have a choice. You always have a choice, you guys.
That reminds me of road rage when people are driving on the road. And it's like, I don't understand road rage because I make mistakes on the road all the time. And I always hope that people would be gracious to me. So when somebody else makes a mistake on the road, I don't react, oh, stupid people. Why? It's like, ooh, dude, I hope you're okay. You're having a rough day.
Yeah.
Right.
How we doing?
How we doing? Yeah.
You know, so it's like your reaction. It's so true. You can either, you know, respond in a way that's gonna bring more peace and happiness to you and still get the same, you know, resolution to the problem, the same answer to the problem, or you can get very upset and very angry. So being in control, you're not getting out of control.
And you can only control yourself. So if you go in there and you're nice, but the person is not so nice, you can only control yourself. So at the end of the day, you know, you just don't want to. It takes away the power for somebody that's gonna yell at you.
Yeah.
If you're just gonna be like, okay, all right, you know, hope you have a good day. I don't know, but
and you don't know. You remember, you
How
guys,
you
back to the beginning when at the retreat or the first class, we talked about like being kind and, you know, leaders are like, patient with people and be kind because you don't know what's going on in that person's life. And so you have a choice. Like you can still be positive to them. You can still bring them some joy or positive reinforcement, even if they're obnoxious to you, or you can be a jerk too. But if you make that choice, then you're giving up a piece of control of, you know, your piece, like you just, you know, like your peace of mind, or, you know, you're giving them something if you react in a bad way. So being in control, it's like one of the most important things for self-determination, for you to know, and not just controlling where you live and what you do and stuff, but how are you going to respond to other people? Because that's going to even mean things like what you get for supports and stuff. If you have behaviors, that's going to change the whole universe. Yeah, Michelle.
It's true. Can I just, I know it's 2:31.
Yeah, we're not going to get to the questions.
We need to wrap it up, but I have one last final example, because you just said something about how you don't know what someone's going through. So be careful in the way that, you know, we want to be kind. And when my dad was dying of cancer, I would take him like every day to go get radiation. And it was in my car because I had the most comfortable one for him. He was in a lot of pain. But every bumper pothole we would go over, it would hurt him. So I was very careful driving from Attleboro to Providence. But you know the roads in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, it's terrible. So I was in Pawtucket and I was trying to navigate some potholes and I was going a little bit slower and a little more carefully. And this truck flew by me. The guy put his window down, laid on the horn, flipped the bird at me, screaming, swearing. And I'm like, I have both my parents in the car. We are suffering in so many ways. And this person had a choice to make, to either just be gracious and maybe just give the benefit of the doubt that we're going through something and we have to drive carefully, or they could really, I mean, I still talk about it to this day, and that was 7 years ago. It's really, you have to be in control and choose the kind. That's
and
all.
even if you have even if you want to swear at them and everything, you could like blow up inside your car. Then you could choose a middle path of like go home and punch a couple of balls or something. You still don't, you know, take your cranky attitude out on something else, somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Choose
right.
to be kind. This was a good class. Thank you, everybody. 3 classes left. I can't even believe it. I feel like we just started. We're just getting going.
I know, we should just go. We should just do a
Yeah.
leadership class part 2. We just keep going and going and going and going and going. You guys are great though. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are
Yeah.
awesome. So thank you so much, and we will see you next Wednesday, and we'll finish this presentation.
Where did Keith go? Is Keith still here? He got bumped off?
I think
I think he got bumped off.
Maybe he had to, I think he said he had to go to somewhere. I don't know. Anyway.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
he's missing my
See you.
scene. So long. Everybody go. And I'll turn off the recording when you go.
That's a wrap. See you next week. Same time, same bat channel. Produced by Advocates in Action, Rhode Island, 2024. Remember, nothing about us without us.